guys, so today is 2PM's 10th anniversary and I wanted to film a special video commemorating that and to just have an excuse to talk about 2PM, which many of you know is my favorite K-pop group. And because this channel is primarily about collecting K-pop, I wanted to do sort of a top favorites video when it comes to 2PM things that I own currently. I did a big long video of my entire 2PM collection earlier this year, but that didn't really give me enough time to go into detail about why some things are really precious to me and why some of these things that I decided to buy and collect just mean so much to me. So I decided to go with sort of a top 3 ranking system for a few different categories. So for instance, my favorite Korean albums, my favorite Japanese albums, DVDs and photo books, etc. So I'm hoping that that'll give me enough time to go into detail about some of these things and why they mean so much to me. So first, I'm going to touch on my favorite Korean albums. And I've mentioned this probably in a few different videos before, but I really love 2PM's newest Korean albums. I think it really shows in their newer albums just how much 2PM have grown as artists, and they found sort of this more mature style that really suits them. And also seeing them participate more in writing and composing their own songs as a group has been really rewarding to see over these few years, and I think it's something they really excel at. So I'm going to start with, I guess, number 3. And most of the ranks that I'll have in all these categories are just loosely ranks. I really like all of 2PM's things. That's why I make an effort to try to collect most of the things they've put out. But right now, I would say this is my 3rd favorite album from 2PM. And that is their latest one that they released in 2016, Gentleman's Game. So this was their so-called boyfriend concept right before all the listments started happening, but I think it's more appropriate to call this their husband concept, just because of how mature the album sounded, and of course the photo shoot I think was more husband-like than boyfriend-like. But this is the Grand Edition, which packaging-wise is kind of cool. It's a little bulky and you do have a lot of wasted space, but I do like how it sort of opens up like a present. And they also incorporated these member slip covers. I happen to have Junho's, which fold out to these larger posters, which was pretty neat. But musically, on this album, you have the title track written by Taehyun, which is really amazing to see Taehyun's writing ability to really take shape and form and be able to write a title track for their group Korean album. And I really love also all the B-sides that Chansung and Wooyoung participated in, and it was such an injustice how short this promotion period was. But nevertheless, this is a very nice way to go out right before the enlistments started. And the next Korean album that I want to talk about, I go back and forth with this one and the one I will reveal later as number 1, mostly because I think both these albums are great from start to finish. I'm just ranking this one as number 2 because there's fewer songs on the track list. The packaging is rather questionable, and I think there's 2 songs that maybe don't really fit the entire track list, but are more fun for, say, concerts to perform. But anyway, that album is their number 5 album. So I have the night version here and the day version here. And so this has the packaging that everyone talks about, saying how awful it is, and it's not the best packaging. Like this one definitely has the plastic lifting up, and it's really hard to store this unless you have it on display. But the photo book, I think it's really lovely in both of these, and musically this is definitely one of my favorite albums from 2PM. It just shows how far they've come and matured in their music. And so this is also a very special album for me because this was the first Korean comeback I had with 2PM as a fan. So I got into K-pop rather late compared to some other people. It was more towards the end of 2014 and the beginning of 2015 is when I became more familiar with it. And really started getting into some groups, including 2PM. But in this album we have one of 2PM's best title tracks ever, My House, which Jun K wrote and composed himself. And you also have some other great songs like Nobody Else, Hotter Than July, Red, which justice for Red, they still haven't performed live. Wanna Love You Again, Good Man, and just the entire track list of this is flawless. Though I would say that maybe 2 of Taehyun's songs don't really seem to fit the flow of the album, but they're really fun to see them perform live, which they did during House Party and 6 Nights. And now for my favorite album. This I think is a lot of people's favorite album, I think, from 2PM, and that is Grown. So I have the Grand Edition here because this just has superior packaging compared to the other versions. Though I do have this version, the version B, which has the heat-sensitive cover, which is really cool. It has the so-called sexy photo book in it, which I would say is well worth getting. But the Grand Edition comes with an extra CD disc, which has an additional group song, as well as a bunch of member solo tracks, which in Korea, I think really signaled how the members individually were able to produce great solo songs, and sort of segues into how all the members have solo albums, or in the case of Kun, will have one very soon, and how they're all capable of doing such. When it comes to cohesive track lists, Ground is definitely an album that from start to finish just sounds very cohesive, but still maintains enough variety to make the album interesting to listen to. So the title tracks for this are ADTOY and Come Back When You Hear the Song, which both are excellent. ADTOY is definitely one of 2PM's standout releases that I think everyone in the K-pop community knows about, or if they don't, then they should know about. And so there's not as much member participation so much on the group songs, but on disc 2, it's all member participation. And so it's nice to see how this album, as well as a couple songs off of Hands Up, you start seeing that more in 2PM's albums, and kind of see how it's, and looking back, see how it's morphed into what they do today. But yes, overall this album is amazing. I wish it was on Spotify so it's easier for me to recommend to other people to listen to, but hopefully one day JYP will get their act together and put some of 2PM's older discography on there, since now you can find all their Japanese albums on there for the most part. Now I'm going to get into their Japanese group discography, which is more extensive than what they've put out in Korea, and I think it's a little bit more unknown to those that are not huge 2PM fans, which is rather unfortunate. But I'm going to go over my 3 favorite singles first, since just like all the other JYP groups, 2PM puts out a few singles out in Japan first, and then those go into their full-length albums with in addition to a few other songs. So starting at number 3, and again, these are all just loosely ranked for my preference, but I'm going to start with Higher, which is one of their best title tracks for sure. And this is another Jun K produced single, and this does come with 2 additional songs, with the Japanese version of My House, Jun K's other title track he wrote and composed, as well as I guess more of a Christmas song, which I'm forgetting the English name for. So while those 2 other B-sides are not my favorite, other than I love My House, but usually it's kind of weird to hear the Japanese version of that, since I'm so used to the Korean version. But Higher is definitely a song that's one of the best Japanese original songs from a K-pop group, I think I could say easily. And this is the CD/DVD version. And packaging wise, this is Japan. It's nothing that special. There's just a few pictures and this digipack package. But they also had member solo covers, which I'm just going to say Junho's for probably self-explanatory reasons. And so all these came with an additional member solo song. which was a nice touch since we got so much new music during this era. And so these next two, I really go back and forth with when it comes to which one's my favorite. But I'm going to show first their Winter Games single. And I don't know what it is about the song, but the song and the choreography, everything just works so well for me. So it's sort of nice to see this new take of a winter lead single that's not Christmas based. And it's just so catchy and the choreo is so good. I just really like it. And then the second song, Stay Here, is also really beautiful. And you just hear so many great things vocally happening that both of those songs are some of my favorite from their Japanese discography. And so for my favorite Japanese single, I have Beautiful here. And so Beautiful, the lead single, was the original 2 PM chair dancing. So the predecessor of 82OI. And it's really refreshing to see this sort of Vogue-like chair choreography from such a masculine boy group. And it just really worked. And the song is also excellent and addictive. And I adore the second track, which Juno helped with the composition. And in English, it loosely translates to If You're Here. And it's just a beautiful song. And whenever it comes up in my shuffle, I have to stop what I'm doing and just listen to it. It's that sort of song. So now moving on to their full-length Japanese albums. I'll try to go through this a little quicker. But the three I'm going to be showing here all contain the singles I just shared with you guys. So first up is their Legend of 2 PM. And I don't actually own version B, which contains an additional disc with solo tracks. So I have version A here, which comes with a DVD. But I really like all the songs on here. This is their first full-length Japanese album with original Japanese songs. So before this was Republic of 2 PM, which was sort of half and half Japanese versions of some of their Korean songs, as well as a good mix of original Japanese song. But Legend of 2 PM, which I'll get into when I talk about my favorite DVDs, it's just a really meaningful era for 2 PM. And this is just when things started getting a lot bigger for them in Japan. And musically, I think this is one of their best albums that is really cohesive with a lot of great songs. So this one contains Beautiful on it, as well as some other favorites of mine like Missing You, Want You Back, Breakthrough, Only One. Just this entire track list is great. I really love 2 PM's entire discography. It's, I think, one of the most flawless ones in K-pop, and this album definitely is no exception. And then for number 2 is their last full-length Japanese album. So their Galaxy of 2 PM, and this happens to be the repackaged version, which comes with an additional song, Milky Way Galaxy, which is a beautiful ballad that Woo Young participated in. And it also comes with some extra DVDs with live concert footage from their 6 Higher Days performances, which is such a treat to see, where each member has their kind of solo day and they perform their solo songs in Japan. But when it comes to this album has a really good mix of kind of weird songs, like track 2, which Imagine, which Woo Young again participated. So maybe that's no surprise why I'm calling it the weird song. But this also contains Higher, which was a single I talked about earlier, and some other good songs like Set Me Free, Shining Star, Teaser, Talk About Your Love, Party Monster. Again, I really love all these songs. And what was also cool about this album was that they also had unit versions. So I have this unit version here, which happens to be Junho's and Chansung's unit version. And so with these unit versions, there was a special unit song that they put on these, depending on which member cover you got. And my favorite unit song from this promotion period was Versus, so Junho's and Chansung's song. So that's why I'm sharing this one here. But the other 2 unit songs are also really great, and they performed that during their Galaxy of 2 PM concert tour. And now for last, my favorite Japanese full-length album. Again, it's hard to say that this is really my favorite because I really love all of 2PM's Japanese albums. There are a few that maybe aren't as cohesive as some, or for example, their first full-length Japanese album just had too many Japanese remakes of their Korean songs, but I think overall, Genesis of 2PM is my favorite full-length Japanese album from them. So this has Winter Games on it, which I showed earlier, as well as some other great songs like Merry-Go-Round and Step by Step, I Want You. And then the bonus disc on this version B had some more member solo songs, which these, I guess, I don't say they're an upgrade from what they did for Legend of 2PM, but there's some more original songs on here. Because on the Legend of 2PM bonus disc, there were a lot of repeats from what they put on Grown, as well as some of the member solo albums. So it was nice to have some more original songs on Genesis of 2PM. Alright, so I talked about their group albums, and so I'm going to move on to their concert DVDs, because I think when it comes to my collection, the favorite things I own are these concert DVDs, and they're things that I rewatch multiple times and really look at more often than, say, physical albums or even photo books. And then the nice thing with all of these DVDs is they do come with photo books too, with live images, which I think I do prefer than, say, studio photo shoots, just because you get to see them in action and seeing them just be so passionate while they're performing. And so for Korean DVDs, they unfortunately don't have any Blu-rays, which I'm still a little peeved over at JYP that they didn't release 6 Nights in Blu-ray. But the packaging for their Korean DVDs is pretty nice because they do all come with these nice thick photo books. And then the concert itself is of course wonderful, and these do come with English subtitles. So it's nice to know exactly what they're saying during the talking bits. It's really hard for me to rank their Korean concerts because there's different reasons why I love some of these. Either the set list has more songs that I prefer, or there are some more endearing and very sentimental talking sessions for some of these. So I'm just going to go with a sort of loose ranking here. So first up, I'm going to talk about their Go Crazy concert. So this was after their Go Crazy album. Also did a world tour, which I unfortunately didn't know about because I was very young in my K-pop years around the time they came to my country. I'm still a little sad about that. But this concert DVD is such a treat to watch. I think 2PM does a really good job with introducing some of their new songs into their set list, as well as still bringing back a lot of their older songs that sort of have that nostalgic quality to them, and often doing remixes with them and sort of making them a bit more modern and just fun to perform. And I think that sort of balance with the old and new was really achieved in this Go Crazy DVD. And then when it comes to styling, which I'm going to have a lot to say, especially during their Japanese concert DVD bit, but I think styling wise this was pretty good, except there were some questionable crazy outfits, especially in the beginning from some of them. But you have mostly good hair from everyone. Young's hair isn't terrible here, which is, thank goodness. But and outfit wise, I think everything except a few of the members' initial outfits were pretty good. For number 2, I'm going to talk about their house party in Seoul. So this is the first concert DVD that I bought from for 2PM, and so it does hold that sentimental kind of feel. And they played so many songs from their number 5 album, which made this DVD even more special to me, since I love that album and I'm just so sentimental about this era. And styling wise, everyone was really good except maybe Woo-young. Again, I feel like I love Woo-young, but some of his styling choices were just pretty questionable here, especially in the beginning as I flip through these pages. And lastly, for the Korean concerts, I'm going to be talking about 6 Nights, which is coincidentally what t-shirt I'm also wearing. But This is a really special concert because this is the last group concert they had before the enlistment started. And with Junkei's accident which halted this concert series, it was just, there was a lot of emotions going on when you watched this. The set list was really great. And I loved how they included a bonus disc with each member's selective stages. So this concert ran for 6 nights, and each member had their own specific night where they would choose 3 additional songs that the group would perform. And I'm really glad that they included all of those. It's kind of sad watching this with Junkei's a sling, but I liked how they modified a lot of these stages, and you could still see Junkei doing a lot of the choreography, which was really impressive given the whole accident that happened. And I'm so happy that this also came with English subs, because the talking MC parts were both hilarious and then also just very heartwarming to watch. And I really need to rewatch this concert, probably after filming this video and editing it. But yeah, this concert is really good. Now moving on to Japanese concerts. I don't actually physically own all of their Japanese concerts. It's something I've been slowly building towards because they are rather expensive. And so the 3 I have here may not necessarily be my favorite concerts from them, just the ones that I own as of right now. So the first one I'll be talking about is their last group concert in Japan, which was their Tokyo Dome one in 2016. And so this is the first concert I actually bought in Blu-ray, which made it all the difference in the concert watching experience for me. Before, I didn't really get why people would pay extra money for Blu-rays, because I was familiar with movie DVDs versus Blu-rays, and I never really noticed that much of a difference in terms of quality, but you could really tell the difference in these concerts. And so I'm really happy that I actually bought this in Blu-ray, and now I'm trying to get a hold of all the other Blu-rays because, wow, the quality is so much different. But with this being their last group concert in Japan, of course this was also very sentimental. Maybe in comparison to 6 Nights that I just talked about, maybe not as much because that was their final concert as a group before they went on group hiatus. But yeah, the track list on here was really good. There was a good mix of Korean songs and Japanese songs, which was interesting for them to bring out. And I think one of the things that made this so it's not my favorite concert was the really bad styling choices. In particular, they had these awful gold metallic pants that I don't say they ruined some of the stages for me, but yeah, I feel less inclined to rewatch this concert compared to some others with better styling. But that said, there's still a lot of great songs on here. It's nice to see some new songs from their Promise single, like Wow and Mayday on here as well. And again, you really can't go wrong with any of 2PM's concerts. Whenever they perform live, it just really elevates your appreciation for their music, just because they're great performers. And just watching them on stage really just changes everything. And this is just from watching them on a screen. Going to their concerts is a whole other experience, which I probably won't get into during this video. And then the next one I'm going to be talking about probably is the most sentimental one for me, because of just how important this concert was for 2PM and just how emotional everything was, especially towards the end. And that is their Legend of 2PM concert. And so I actually decided to watch this morning on 2PM's anniversary because one, I hadn't seen this one for a while, and then 2, it's just there's so many great stages. You have a lot of rock remixes, which I'm always here for because I love rock music. And I really wish 2PM would go a bit more rock sometimes, but when they do, it's wonderful. And then they're playing songs from their Legend of 2PM album, which are all great, as well as a lot of solo stages from that too, which was nice to see. But towards the end, there's just so many heightened emotions because this is their first Tokyo Dome concert, which is such a huge milestone in Japan, and to be able to perform at that huge venue is just really meaningful to any artist. But like the last half hour just really chokes me up with how how emotional all the guys are, and you see some breakdowns and just crying, and it was also just really meaningful to Kun too, especially at the end, and I was definitely very teary-eyed when I was watching this, and almost in tears, to be honest, even though I've seen this multiple times. I always just feel my emotions so heightened whenever I watch this, so that's why I don't try to watch it too often, but when I do, it always hits me. And now for my favorite concert DVD that I like to rewatch multiple times because it doesn't punch me in the gut like the Legend of 2 PM concert. And that is Genesis of 2 PM. I probably love this concert because I really love the Genesis of 2 PM album, which was what they performed primarily on this. But this concert also just had some of their best styling, so I think that's another reason why I kind of go back to this one and rewatch stages. I guess the only critique I have when it comes to this concert DVD is the choice of having this blurring effect on some of the stages, especially during the ADTOY like stage. There's just so much blurring going on, which I don't really understand why they did that, or if that was just an unfortunate consequence of what they were filming that day. But when it comes to Japanese DVDs, they're more consistent with better, I think, filming. You get a lot more close-ups, and just the angles they choose, I think, are better than a lot of the Korean concert DVDs. So that's why I really try to get the Japanese ones when I can. And also just the track list is always good because I really love 2 PM's Japanese music, and there's usually a good mix of Korean songs in here too, which are nice to see them perform as well. Alright, so I'm gonna have to edit this a lot because I was getting a bit rambly, and I hope this video is not too long or boring for you guys. But next I'm going to go into photo books. So I'm just going to show these quickly because there's not really much to say other than I really like these images. And the first one I'm going to show because it's just ridiculous, and it kind of just shows how weird 2 PM are, and that is their Yazoo photo book. And so they had a fan meeting in Japan where they would dress up as their Zoopian characters, which are displayed here. And they have little sections where the members would have little styling sessions, or it kind of gives you a close-up of how these costumes that they used or performed in during their concert book, and it's so ridiculous, but I love it. I really love Zoo PM. They just came out for their 10th anniversary with all of this new Zoo PM merchandise, and I want to go crazy, but it's so expensive. And they have these new baby Zoo PM designs, which are adorable. Though I do question Junho's and Chansung's characters. That kind of, it's a little too much. But the other character designs I think are great. But yeah, I flipped through this I think before in one of my hauls. I could do a proper unboxing if you guys want, but you're gonna have to ask me or else I probably won't do it on my own. When it comes to unboxings, I tend to just do new releases unless I have requests for some older things. Mostly just to spread awareness that these things happened, because I think a lot of people in the K-pop community don't realize how much 2 PM do, especially in recent years with their solo projects, which is a shame because a lot of it is really great. So I do it out of a sense of duty and just as an excuse to talk about 2 PM because they're my favorites and I like to talk about them. So the next photo book is a concert brochure, but I just really love the styling, and that is their 2 PM of 2 PM pamphlet. And so inside that envelope is this photo book, and I just love the photo shoot here. We have all the members with these flowers, and there's just some really stunning images here. So these are similar images to their photo cards they had for this era, which are some of my favorite. And for their recent Honest Day event for their 10th anniversary, they reprinted or have new images from this photo shoot that I really want. They're going for so much money though, but they're so pretty. And yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite photo shoots for 2 PM. Everyone looks good. even Will Young with his mullet hair. Looks pretty good. This last photo book that I want to share is, I guess, is I think every hottest kind of holy grail or holy Bible, if you will, photo book, and that is their Calvin Klein The Book. And so this is a collaboration they had with Calvin Klein and this photographer, and I'll just, I guess, show some pages from this. Really, there's not much explanation about why this is my favorite. There's just a lot of good images on here. Yeah. I don't need to say much. You probably understand why. I could definitely do an unboxing of this if you guys want. I did a flip through when I got this initially, but yeah, I didn't really do it proper justice. Probably when I did that flip through in one of my like Sun Market hauls or something, wherever I got this. But yes, that is a favorite, and for self-explanatory reasons why that's a favorite. So this was probably a very long video. So I love talking about 2 p.m. That is no surprise to anyone. So this video probably will end up being very long. So sorry about that, but I'm going to end this video with just talking about a few other things that I really love that are in my collection. The first being their fan meeting DVDs. 2 p.m. If you don't know them from their music, hopefully you know them for at least their variety, because these guys are some of the funniest idols out there. Like a lot of second generation idol groups really excelled when it came to variety, but I think 2 p.m. is definitely one of the top tier ones that are funny. These fan meeting DVDs, I think, showcased that, but they've also had so many other shows that didn't have a physical format. Their most recent one, the Royal Beat one, I guess did, but they released it in Japan. They didn't release it in Korea or anywhere with English subtitles, unfortunately. But if you haven't caught any of 2 p.m.'s variety, if you just watched a couple of short episodes from the Real 2 p.m. series that they used to have on their YouTube channel, I think that just really captures 2 p.m.'s comic side, as well as just really showcases them as genuine people, which is really, I think, the reason why I really love them, as well as so many other hottest do. And my favorite show probably of all time from them is their 2 p.m. show. I watched that so many times, and it's definitely one of the funniest things I've seen, though it is a little dated. I think it's from around their Hands Up era, but it's still something that never gets old for me to watch, even though the quality isn't in HD. I think it's one of those shows that really just shows how second generation variety used to be. The other thing that I want to share before I end this video are 2 p.m.'s Lightsticks. So I had a haul recently where I was showing some Lightsticks that I got. One of them was this, and I had issues turning it on. I finally figured out how to turn it on though. So this is their Galaxy 2 p.m. Lightstick, and it has different colors, which probably won't showcase that well on camera. But each color signifies a member color, and it's just something really cool to have, and I'm really glad that I have it. So 2 p.m. has a ton of different Lightsticks. I think this one is one of my favorites because of the different member colors, and it just, the quality of it's just really nice. It feels really supple in my hand. The kind of rubber plastic that they used on the handle is really nice, and it looks classy. So I really like it. And the other one I want to share is their latest Korean one that they had. So they released this for their 6 Nights concert, and the cool thing is you can actually change out these plates, and there's these different plates with member names on it. So when you press this, there's different settings, and I don't know how well you can see the designs on here, but I just have the 2 p.m. one in right now because it's their group anniversary. But you can also outfit it with different plates, which is kind of a cool touch. I really like this one. They also have this little stand You could prop it on. So if you wanted like as a nightlight or something, I guess you could put it on your nightstand. Yeah, I've been collecting 2PM for quite a while now, and this collection is just going to keep growing because 2PM will always produce new things. So in this video, I definitely didn't go over any of their solo things, which if you did watch my collection video, a lot of it comprises of their solo albums or solo acting projects and other things like that. So I think I'm going to do a similar video for each member's birthday this coming year. Because now with Chansung and Junho having to enlist by the end of this year, we're just going to have Kun out and doing promotions, hopefully with his new solo album. But because no one but Kun will be releasing anything, I won't have really an excuse to talk about 2PM as much. So I think this kind of birthday favorites video for each member would be a nice substitute and excuse to talk about 2PM this coming year. But this video was very long, so again, sorry about that. I hope you found it interesting, and let me know down below what some of your guys' favorite 2PM things are, either in your collection or musically, what some of your favorite songs or albums are, anything that you want to talk about to commemorate 2PM's achievements within these past 10 years. Please do so down below. So that is all. Happy 10th anniversary of 2PM and hottest out there. Stay tuned for more videos from me. I have some more 10 market hauls, and I've been working on updating my compilation videos for 2PM songs. Right now for their solo work, I'll be getting into probably updates for their Korean ones too eventually. But yeah, bye guys.